And put it upar and put it down. Okay, that's me smiling. Today I'm coming to you from planet Earth. Episode 8, Tragedy. So this is me talking about life, experiences, cinema, and hopefully not in a way in which it'll pakao you. So this is Mad-Vani coming to you from planet Earth. And let's talk about tragedy. Tragedy. So, it's just so happened that everything that I have made, whether it was Neerja, which was a tragedy, but it was also an inspirational, motivational film. Even Aarya is a tragedy. And even Dhamaka was a tragedy. Even The Waking of a Nation is a tragedy. And I've been, not that I really, sort of said that I want to make only tragedies. And obviously I do want to make comedies also. And I've been trying to figure out why is it that I have been doing or making you cry. It's really just got to do with catharsis. Okay, and I better just look up what does that word mean? From the ancient Greek word that means purification or cleansing. And so obviously, it means that your tears are actually going to cleanse you. And I think that's quite a word then. It's only sometimes the movies that make you cry. And especially in a darkened hall. And that's why, when people came to me after they saw Neerja, they said we were crying from our stomachs. And people went and, even like sort of called up their mothers after they saw the film. And what happens is that because you have shielded yourself from life so much, and because we're all in, how shall I say, social masking kind of, role that we play all the time, that we've forgotten how to cry. And I think, therefore, when one does basically, sort of use that rus, then that rus is something that is a rus that we've probably forgotten because we've had a, what they call as the action hero, heroine. We've also had, so in Hindi cinema, you have the action hero, heroine, or you have the comic hero, heroine, and you also have the romantic hero, heroine. And we know all the actors who've been, big stars because of these roles. And no longer do we have the tragic hero, heroine. This used to be a big deal, Dilip Kumar, Meena Kumari, even Shah Rukh Khan when, he did some of the earlier roles. And I have not actually this whole phrase of, yeah, ye bahut tragic hero, tragic heroine hai. I think that we've lost that as a terminology in the movie making, sort of today. And so really, what is it about tragedy that, sort of keeps us going when somebody else is suffering, makes you feel about your own suffering is something which is what you vibe with, and therefore it, in some ways, it cleanses you, it purges you, it gives you a sense of catharsis because you feel bad for that person, and in feeling bad for that person, you feel bad about yourself and the misery of what you're going through. Of course, the word tragedy, when I looked up catharsis, which was fine, but when I looked up tragedy, it is comes from two words. One is called goat and the other is called song. So I don't understand why goat song becomes a tragic. Please look it up yourself. Yes, maybe, goats, sort of when they wail, that is a tragic sound. But like Chekhov said, there is, there is comedy in tragedy too. So that goat going, meh, is where the tragedy comes from. What else do I say about tragedy? Dhamaka was about a fallen hero, and Waking of a Nation was about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, which was a huge tragic event. Aarya was about a mother who eventually becomes what she wants to do, कि एक माँ अपने बच्चे के लिए कुछ भी कर सकती है, and then she does so much that she even, sort of, in a way, the children go against her because she's trying to protect her kids, but at what cost? And then the children actually, she does it at a cost where they leave her. And so that becomes a tragedy of, Aarya. And Neerja obviously is about a woman who has something that happens to her in her life where her husband is somebody that she didn't stand up against, and then she decides that these people who come to hijack the plane is the hijackers is who she's going to stand up against, and then she loses her life. And it's really about how does a family overcome the loss of their child. And so these rasas and these sort of feelings is really what I was trying to evoke in the audience for them to actually cleanse themselves. And therefore, there is nothing like a good cry. Like, I'm not ashamed of crying. I remember many years ago when Aarya didn't happen as a movie, and we were almost a month away from shooting, and it didn't happen. And then I was told on Saturday, September 13th, that at 12 noon, that film is not happening. Then said to myself, how long will you cry? I mean, I did cry a lot, and I gave myself till 12 o'clock on Sunday. I said, I'm going to stop crying at 12 o'clock on Sunday. And then from there, I, actually did, it yet affects me, but still I decided not to cry. But I think that this idea that of suffering, because, life is suffering. And it's from what the Buddha also said, it's all dukkha, it's all dukh. In some ways, tragedy is execution proof. Comedy is not execution proof because you need a tone, you need to pitch it correctly. Whereas no matter, if you have it on paper, and if in that reading, you can actually make people cry, which is what we did when we were reading Neerja. Simon Quadros wrote the script and Sanyuta Chawla Sheikh wrote the dialogues. And when we'd been working for it for a year and a half, and I said, the reason I'm making the film is because my son is a music director, and like when he comes home late at night, from a gig, I'm awake, and I said, how does a parent overcome the loss of their child? And I said, therefore, the last act of the film has to be, they say the last act is philosophy. And the philosophy comes from what does the filmmaker want to say. And therefore, what I wanted to do was how does a parent overcome that loss? And so, which is why Shabana ji amazingly well performed speech.
Believe in Yota. Itti hasmukh. Itti full of life. Itti mast mola. और अपनी 23वीं बर्थडे पे चली गई.
When we were reading it in the narrations that we had, whether it was to the studio or whether it was to the team, every reading we had people crying. So it was on paper. Even in Waking of a Nation, episode 4, which is when Poonam and Nikita performs it really well again, and she talks about sort of what she went through during the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and the other people do. Every time that we did a reading, and Shantanu and Shatrujit were there, and they wrote that, and every time that we did that, people would cry. So I knew that the feeling that you're getting, I can't screw it up. It is going to happen. No matter, it is therefore something which is execution proof. And I feel as I'm working, I want to try and make things that are director proof. I want to make things that are actor proof. I want to make sure that what is there on paper is what is eventually what is going to work. But tragedy is director proof also, because it's on paper. If it makes the people in the room cry when you're narrating it, it will happen. So we do not need tragedy in our lives, but we definitely need tragedy in our movies and in our series. And so long live tragedy. But this is really coming from experience. So let's talk, we'll return.